Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean, this is In The Mixer and it's unlucky episode 13, but it's a pretty lucky one for us because there's been a lot of massive things that have been happening. If you haven't gone back and checked out the last episode, a lot of what's going on is not going to make sense. But in the last episode we did pick up our first international management job. We might as well jump straight into the game, where we took over Uzbekistan. Now, not the proudest nation in the world, not the biggest football nation in the world. The main competition they've been participating in is their World Cup qualification progress. We have finished top of the group. Now, we took over and they're already sitting there. We've only played 4 games as the manager. We have won them all. We'll go through those results in a moment, but everything's gone really well. And it does mean that we are now playing our last game of the qualification process against second place Japan. If they beat us, they will go above us. They've got a superior goal difference. They don't have more goals for, but they've got a better defensive record. I'm still fairly desperate to finish top of the group because I think that affects what pot you go into for the World Cup draw. And I think last episode I said I was going to come back and do the previous game as well, the UAE match. I decided not to because what I'd rather do is actually focus in this episode on going through and finding out who we're going to play in the World Cup, which isn't scheduled until the 21st of April. As you guys can see, it's the 12th of October now, so it's going to be a bit of a marathon. I've got quite a bit to get through in this episode, so I think the best way is to probably just jump in. We'll go through the last few games. Of course, last episode we played that 5-1 win against Iran, which really set us up to do quite well in the second leg of the kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, like the second half of the group stage, the final group stage for Asian Champions, not Asian Champions League, Asian World Cup qualification. Japan, the only team that has beat us in the qualification stages. A 3-1 win when we played them away. We now get to play them at home and hopefully get that back. We then beat Bahrain 2-1. We were well and truly on top. They got a pretty decent goal, to be fair, from a set-piece scenario in the 48th minute, but we already had the game in control after that stage. We hit the crossbar, I think, about 5 or 6 times. We then beat China at home. There was a late Aliyev goal that kind of made it look a little bit better than it was. Wasn't the greatest performance that we've ever had, but I forgot to make subs. So, you know, take 1 step forward, 2 steps back in that respect. We then beat the UAE 3-1, a very good performance here again. We had quite a few different players out, either injured or picking up injuries in the camp or yellow card suspensions. So a good time to actually rotate quite a few through. And now we bring ourselves to the game against Japan. There's a couple of different changes to the squad because for whatever reason, my under-23 manager, he called up Jallo, who was excellent in that first episode that you guys saw, 2 long-range screamers. I keep trying to push him back into the senior squad. I can't do it, so quite frustrating that the under-23 manager has done that. But there's a couple of capable players that will play in this match and we should still do okay. What I'm not 100% sure of is if these yellow card bans actually carry forward into the World Cup, because effectively this is our last competitive fixture before the World Cup. Unless there's like an Asian Champions League qualifier or an Asian Cup qualifier during that period. I don't know when that happens. No, not that. It doesn't start until the 2nd of December, and apparently we're already in it. So maybe the qualification for the World Cup actually also draws your qualification for the Asian Cup as well. Impossible to tell, but I don't know if those yellow cards will actually carry over to the World Cup. I'm going to play the players anyway, because I think it's more important that we get a good pot, and then just fingers and toes and whatever else crossed that it doesn't carry over if any of them pick up yellow cards in this match. But because you guys don't usually see this portion, I usually jump straight in. I'll go through putting the team together with you. Kubatov in goal. He's played pretty much every game so far. We haven't really had anything to complain about with him. He's done his job. We've only kept 1 clean sheet, I think, in the last few games. But I don't really blame him too much for that. It's just the style of play that we happen to be in. Giasov will play as the right fullback. He's been excellent on that attack duty. Very much one of the first names on the team sheet. Komolov will play on the left back spot. I've accidentally put him centre back because I thought the left back spot was next if you right click. He's been quite good as well. See here, he must have made some sort of adjustment. So now it's saying he's a no-nonsense fullback on defend. He was previously a fullback on defend. We might as well put him in with his favoured role. Why not? Our central defensive partnership has been pretty good so far. It is Kobolov, who's not going to play there. He's going to play on the other side. I've done this horrifically, which is why I usually kind of do it while you guys aren't looking. And Zokshimov is the other one that plays alongside him. Again, just a back 5, working in their preferred roles and formations. We are playing a bit higher aligned, so the sweep keeper does help us quite a bit. And it's good to know that, you know, the players that we've got have actually worked well in the formation and setup that we're using anyway. Our midfield anchor is Odil Amadov, who is our best player statistically, or at least as far as the coaching ratings are concerned, and playing at the highest level, earning like $230,000 a week. Usually we'd have Jallo playing, but we're going to use Mirzaev as a box-to-box midfielder alongside Armadov. Still a decent player, 3.5-star ability. He's going to do just fine. I think Aliev is the next one. No, it's not. It's the right winger. So we'll push Aliev across into his spot in the 10 role. Rashidov has been excellent. He'll play on the right wing. Gofferov has had a pretty good campaign as well. He'll play on the left. And then Shomorodov, still can't get half of these pronunciations correct, will lead the line up top as the pressing forward. He hasn't scored quite as many as I expected, but we've been winning games with him in the side, so surely the team is performing quite well. Everyone is very suited to their natural roles, so we're not asking anyone to do anything crazy outside of that. And then we're just going to pick, without restriction, the subs, because it's everyone else that's in your squad. Very simple, very easy, very straightforward, nothing to be massively concerned about. Japan are very, very good. Like, make no mistakes, Japan are probably the most technically gifted side anywhere in Asia, and they have a very, very strong football history, football background. Like Kubo, who's out on the right wing, is the Real Madrid player. He's very, very good in this game, if you can pick him up in your own saves. Kamada up top, plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. He looks like a decent player, be about 23 when the game starts. Enzo is a good player. Shoji's a good player. Nakayama at the left fullback spot is a good player. They've got Maya Yoshida from Southampton on the bench. Shinji Kagawa's on the bench. Like, they've got a lot of quality, and are probably the best team that we have in the group. So we just need to try and get out of this game while staying top of the group. That's really what we want. We're going to passionately say we owe Japan after what happened in the last match. Go out there and get revenge. And then I think tactically, we're also going to go out in the first half with a little bit of shithousery, and we're going to try and carry through on our cautious mentality just to get to half-time, hopefully not too far behind in the match, and able to kind of push on a little bit if we need more goals, or as they start looking for more goals, get them on the counter-attack a little bit more. So all very straightforward stuff. I'm not trying to complicate anything too much. We just don't have the players, and we don't have the depth to do any crazy tactics. And because I think in international management, you get so many fewer sessions with your team, you just want to try and pick the best available players in their positions, in their preferred roles as quickly as you can. We've got a corner here. Zoximov is in the area. We've hit the post. It's pinballing around. Armadov gets it back down. Someone's gone past him. Asako eventually gets it out for a throw-in. So we've had a chance from a set piece early in the game, and statistically speaking, we are so far on top in the opening 17, 18 minutes or so. All right, 30 minutes gone. We're going to use our demand more shout just to give everyone a bit of focus. I wouldn't hate it if we made it into half-time on level pegging, because you would think they're going to have to come out and go after a little bit more. And just like that, we do make it to half-time. So still 0-0. They picked up 4 yellow cards. We've picked up 2, so a little bit spiteful. We've had 7 shots, 1 on target, and 49% of the ball. They've had 5, 0, and 51. We might make that tactical adjustment and move to our positive mentality. Not much changes in terms of the in-possession or out-of-possession instructions. But we're also going to use our team talk and assertively say, I'm happy with your performance so far. Keep it up. And let's also tell our forward, you weren't that bad, but you can improve. He doesn't give a shit. So, as we always do, we'll give it 15 more minutes. So far, I was just about to say, Rashidov has just picked up a yellow card. I can't remember if he was one of the players that was sitting on that yellow card ban. Mirzaev's picked up the ball in a good area. We've got a counter-attack on here if we can find the switch as quickly as we can. Gets to the byline. Can he find the cutback? Endo with a good tackle. And they've given a penalty. I'm not sure if it was for the initial challenge by Endo or the follow-up there, but they've also gone down to 10 men, which is fantastic for us. Shomurodov will have the chance to give us the lead and straight at Schmidt in goal, which is absolutely horrific. Like, what was that? All right, now go on. So we're going to make 3 subs. We're going to take off 2 of the guys that were on yellow cards. Rashidov will trust to get through this game on the right wing. He shouldn't be putting many challenges in anyway. And we're also going to take off, what was his name? Shomurodov up front, because his match rating has dropped since he missed that penalty. And we'll give Igor Sergeyev an opportunity to push for a first team place. Both of them pressing forwards. No real changes to the lineup or anything like that. No changes to the player roles that we're really asking from anyone. It's just to try and get us through to the final whistle with as many men on the field as possible. We use our get creative shout as well for the last 15 minutes. Armadov has the ball now. Ahmad Daliev at right back. Deep ball across. Sergeyev with a good header, and Schmidt does very well. Proud Japanese name, Schmidt. Not that I'm belittling migrant culture or anything like that. It's just not one that you expect to see in Football Manager. Ahmadalev with the ball now. The highlight continues. He's got a man in front of him. Squares it across. Great touch around the player. And then an excellent finish from Odilon Hamrobekov, who's one of the subs that we just brought on late there. And he did very, very well to bring it down. The touch was excellent to take him around a defender. He skipped past another one and then put a left-footed shot back across the keeper. It's an excellent touch there. That's the one. Gets it back onto his left peg and then smashes it across the goalkeeper. and we go a goal up against 10 men. All right, we're well and truly getting towards the end of the 90 minutes. I've used our demand more shout just to focus everyone. And this might be the last highlight. About 50 seconds remaining. Long ball forward from Schmidt. Flick on header. Kigawa's got the ball. He's played Kubo in, and he's just found a way past the goalkeeper. Very much along against the run of play from what we've seen. And they're saying it was a mistake by one of the defenders there. Just a long ball forward from Schmidt. Kadigawa does pretty well. And who gives the ball away there? Zokshimov. He plays a ball back. And he didn't really need to. It's a good finish from Kubo. Don't take anything away from that. Kubatov didn't get out quick enough to cover his lines. And this one might finish 1-1. Unless there's some late drama here. Zokshimov, I think it was, that made the mistake. Medeliev. Ball forward to Rashidov. To Aliev. Overlapping runners. It goes back to Armadov, who strikes from distance, but it's just wide of the goal. And dare I say it, that should be the last highlight of the game. The referee calls full time, and we're unfortunate to only get a 1-1 draw, but, you know, Japan are a good team. They took their chance quite well. 24 shots, 4 on target, 57% of the ball, which is excellent. 8 shots, 1 on target, and 43% of the ball. Let's just say calmly, you were unlucky tonight. There's no need to get everyone upset. We're trying to keep the group together. We're trying to keep them happy. We've dropped one spot to 61st position, which is crazy because we've finished top of the group in our qualification group. I would have thought we would maybe move up in the qualification processes or program. Football Association are delighted that the team qualified from the final stage of the AFC World Cup qualifiers. They're confident you'll meet the expectations in the forthcoming FIFA World Cup. Draw against 10 men Japan. Kubo, who we did speak about, the Real Madrid player, got the Man of the Match award for his late goal. Go to the press conference. I think even the staunchest of Japan supporters will admit that they've stolen one there. And they're talking about Hamid Bekov's goal. It was excellent. Zokshimov, I'm not going to get down on him. I'll just stay happy with him. Kubo had a good game, and we won't concede late in the game again. Now, one of the things that we are going to do is try and set up some friendlies. So we've submitted a request to Belgium and France. They were the top 2 European teams that are available. So we'll go for Spain instead. What I want to do is have one little block of friendlies in 2022 where we play 2 big name European clubs, 2 big name South American clubs, and then 2 big name, whatever clubs. Let's go African or North American or something like that. Or maybe we go and play 2 bigger name Asian teams and try and beat the living piss out of them. I think one of the things that, and I don't know if this has actually worked into the game, I think one of the big things that we might see is because Uzbekistan is from a similar climate to Qatar, not as much of a desert, but certainly a similar area in terms of heat and that sort of thing. We might actually be really well prepared to do okay in World Cup that takes place in December and one that takes place in the heat of Qatar. Now, I guess the next part is we're not going to bring you the next friendly, no matter who it's against, but I think we're going to jump forward quite a bit of distance and get to April when the World Cup draw actually takes place to figure out what group we're in, who we're going to be playing, and kind of track how the team is going from there. So, magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to that portion now. Alright, just like that, we are about, I don't know how long it was, 6 months or something like that, something crazy. But we've jumped ahead quite a bit. First, before we go into the World Cup draw, the schedule, we did play 2 friendlies. We had played against Portugal and Belgium. They were the 2 highest rated European sides that would come and play us. I just want home fixtures. That's all I really care about until we actually get through to our World Cup matches. We lost 5-1 to Portugal. They slammed in 4 goals in the opening 20 minutes. We were on our cautious mentality to start with. At halftime, I made the jump 5-0 down at halftime. 5-1 down at halftime. I made the jump to the positive mentality, and it worked a lot better in the second half. So, a little bit of improvement there, but obviously we've got some tweaks that we need to do tactically for these games against bigger sides. We then flipped it and did it the other way against Belgium a couple of days later, where we started on positive and then went back to the cautious mentality at halftime, and we did a lot better. So, I don't know. I think it might depend on how the team you're playing sets up. Portugal played like a flat 4-4-2, and we're very much set up to counter-attack us. I think if we play sides like that, we might need to be a little bit more positive. When we play sides like Belgium, who played a pretty aggressive 4-3-3, it was a very similar lineup to like Real Madrid. If you watch when we played against them in the Atletico games, they were a bit more aggressive, a bit more on the front foot, so cautious might have been a more default thing, but that's an improvement. 3 days later to only lose 3-1 after losing 5-1 a few days before, we're getting better, we're doing things a little bit better. We'll continue to build. We're going to play Chile and France. They were the 2 highest ranked South American sides that wanted to play us, and then we're going to finish up playing Mexico and the US as our last friendlies in November before the World Cup kicks off at the end of November. But before we do that, we need to go and watch this draw and see who we're going to pull out. So we're just going to go automatic draw. Well, actually, maybe let's stop. What seed are we in? So we'll just have a quick look at the pots here. The first seeds, Argentina, France, Italy, Qatar, Belgium, Germany, Portugal, and Spain. You would expect them to all top their respective groups. Second seeds, Brazil's interestingly in there, Croatia, England, Senegal, Colombia, Denmark, Mexico, and Uruguay. The third seeds, Australia, who topped the other group in our qualification area, Holland, Nigeria, Switzerland, Chile, Morocco, Scotland, and USA. I would have thought we'd be in that group, to be completely honest with you, because we topped our qualification group in automatic qualification. But if it's going purely on ranking, we are the lowest ranked nation that made the World Cup. In with the fourth seeds, Algeria, Czech Republic, Japan, South Korea, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Mali, and ourselves. So we're going to have to play some big teams. Definitely, there's no one particularly jumping out at me in pot 3 other than Holland and maybe Chile that we couldn't beat. And in the second seeds, there's some teams here that I think we'd do okay against. I think we'd do okay against Denmark. We're going to see how we go against Colombia. We could potentially do well against Senegal, depending on how they play. And then the top seeds, there's some very, very strong teams. Ideally, we'd get Qatar, but I don't think we can actually draw them because they are also within our group. So there's things in the draw that prevent you getting someone that's in Asia. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Ideally, we get Qatar out of the first seeds. Ideally, we would get Senegal out of the second seeds. Whoever out of the third seeds, I don't really mind, and will be the fourth seed. That's the dream draw that we could hope for. Now watch as we get a group of death, but we're going to watch this whole thing. Jamaica's the first team out of the pot in Group A, Mali into Group B, South Korea in Group C, Costa Rica in Group D. They've done it opposite. I thought the first seeds would go first. Japan in Group E, Algeria in Group F, we're in Group G, and Group H will be Czech Republic to close out the fourth seeds. We're going to move to the third now. Morocco's the next. USA, Holland, Australia in Group D, Switzerland in Group E, Scotland in Group F. We're going to play against Chile, who were one of the teams that we didn't want to get. They look decent. And Nigeria rounds out the third seeds. England's going to be in Group A with Morocco and Jamaica. Croatia has been drawn in Group B. Colombia, Group C. Senegal in Group D. Mexico in Group E. Brazil in Group F. Denmark in Group G, that's not bad, and Uruguay in Group H. We're going to see who we get out of the big boys. Come on, Qatar. Qatar goes in Group A automatically. Spain goes in Group B. France goes in Group C. Argentina in Group D. Germany in Group E. Portugal in Group F. We're going to get Belgium or Italy. We've got Belgium, who we know we just played and lost 3-1 to. So there's some tasty looking groups there. England and you'd think maybe Jamaica should get out of this first group. Group A, Morocco and Qatar, the teams to miss out. Group B, you'd expect Croatia and Spain to get out of, but USA might challenge if either of those teams slip up. In Group C, it looks like probably the toughest group of all of them. Colombia, France, Holland, and South Korea. Really, France should go top, but Colombia, Holland, and South Korea will all duke it out for the second spot. In Group D, the Socceroos, my home country, would fancy their chances to finish second in a group. Argentina should be the clear favourites top. Costa Rica and Senegal would go out. Group E, Germany, Japan, Mexico, and Switzerland. That one's also very tight. You'd think Germany should top the group if everything goes according to plan. Japan, Mexico, and Switzerland would all fancy themselves to finish second. Group F should be relatively straightforward. Brazil or Portugal should finish as the top two. Algeria and Scotland going out. Group G, our group, we're definitely going to be the underdogs in it. Make no mistake. Belgium should top the group. Chile will be an interesting game. Denmark will be an interesting game. But we're going to continue working, tweaking, changing the things that we need to work on to get better, to get through that. And I'm not... Like Belgium, we lost 3-1 to, and they came flying out of the blocks. I think we're in a good spot, having just played them, to actually set ourselves up a little bit better, to do better in a return fixture against them. And then Group H, the last group, Czech Republic, Italy, Nigeria, and Uruguay. So the actual schedule for the World Cup isn't until the end of November. I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back for that first match in the World Cup. And ideally, I'll show you all three of the games in the group stage to close out the week. And if we get through to the round of 16, round of 32, whatever it's actually called, I've completely forgotten, we will do that episode over the weekend and close out the World Cup and then see where we go in terms of managing for a third season before we move into our full save. Again, for you guys, depending on how I've edited it, it might not be the longest episode in the world. Definitely not the most gameplay in the world, but certainly a ton of exciting stuff going on. It's been an absolute marathon for me, but I'm still loving the game. Very much enjoying the early days of Football Managers 2020. Now the full game's out. If you want to be kept up to date on future videos as they're released, you can subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on Twitch as well. There are links just over that side. I always do it to the wrong way. And also follow @inthemixer_FM on Twitter to be kept up to date on all our interactions with the community, announcements of streams, announcements of episodes, all that sort of great stuff that's going to continue throughout the course of the year. More than anything, thank you so much for watching. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the Mixer.